AI is everywhere these days. You can love or hate it, but it's here and you're being forced to use it whether you like it or not. Have a cell phone, use a bank, watch YouTube. Chances are you found this video because YouTube's AI decided you wanted to see it. AI is in more of our lives than we may even realize. The question is, how much control does it really have? You've probably heard a lot about AI recently, how it's writing books, creating music, even producing videos, but the truth is, AI didn't just show up overnight. It's been with us for decades. We just didn't call it that. Back in the early days of the internet, we heard terms like algorithms and recommendation engines. These sounded harmless, technical jargon for making life easier. Who wouldn't want their email to automatically sort out spam? Or for Google to magically predict exactly what you're searching for, sometimes before you've even finished typing it? In 2006, Netflix introduced its now famous recommendation algorithm. On the surface, it was about helping you find the next show to binge. But behind the scenes, it was something more. It was learning about you. What you watched when you were happy. What you turned to when you were bored. How long you could go without clicking next episode before guilt finally kicked in and you turned the TV off. At the time, it felt convenient, almost like a friend that knew you. But was it really friendship, or the first step in building a detailed psychological profile of who you are and how you can be influenced? Fast forward a few years, and that same friendly algorithm was no longer just recommending movies. It was helping retailers predict what you'd buy before you even knew you needed it. Amazon, Google, Facebook, all using increasingly advanced AI systems, quietly collecting data on every click, every pause, every hesitation. And we accepted it, because it made life easier. But here's where things start to feel a little less like convenience, and a little more like control. Suppose for a moment that this wasn't just about marketing. Suppose it was about training us, slowly, over years, to become reliant on suggestions. To let the machine tell us what's next. Consider this. If you've ever sat down to watch something but didn't know what, did you choose the show you watched, or did the algorithm choose it for you? And if it can guide your entertainment choices that easily, what else could it guide? Is it really just helping you, or teaching you to trust it more than your own instincts? This was how AI entered our lives, not as some threatening world-conquering force, but as a helpful little assistant. Always there, always suggesting, always learning. And the more we accepted it, the more control it quietly took. We like to believe we're in control of our lives, that every decision we make, what we buy, what we watch, what we believe, is entirely our own. But what if that's just an illusion? Every time you scroll through social media, every time you search for news, even when you're just shopping online, invisible algorithms are working behind the scenes. They're not just serving you content. They're shaping what you see, and more importantly, what you don't. Take Facebook's 2012 experiment, one you probably never even heard about. Without telling its users, Facebook manipulated the emotional content of hundreds of thousands of news feeds. Some users were shown happier posts, others were fed more negativity. The result? People's own posts started to reflect the tone of what they were being shown. In other words, Facebook successfully altered the emotional state of its users, without their knowledge and without their consent. Now ask yourself, if that happened over a decade ago, what are these platforms capable of today? TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, each of them run on highly advanced recommendation engines, powered by AI systems far more sophisticated than anything Facebook used back then. These systems don't just analyze what you watch, they predict what will keep you watching. They know when you're likely to be bored, when you're feeling restless, even when you're vulnerable. And they don't just serve content, they shape behavior. Look at the rise of viral challenges. Some are harmless, dances, recipes, funny skits, but others have been dangerous, even deadly. Yet they spread like wildfire, reaching millions in days or even hours. Why? Because the algorithms push them. Not for your benefit, but because controversy and danger drive engagement. And engagement drives profit. But let's take it one step further. If these systems can influence what videos you watch, what products you buy, and even how you feel, what's to stop them from influencing what you believe? Political polarization has exploded over the past decade. Entire societies have become fractured. Neighbors turned against each other over ideologies they may not have even considered 10 years ago. Ask yourself, did you choose your beliefs? Or were they slowly nudged into place by the content you were fed, day after day, post after post, video after video? Cambridge Analytica, a name you might remember from the 2016 US election scandal, used data from Facebook to create psychological profiles of voters. They didn't just advertise to people. They targeted them with carefully crafted messages designed to push emotional triggers and sway decisions. And they were frighteningly effective. So if corporations and political organizations have already used AI-driven data to manipulate public opinion, who else is doing it? Suppose for a moment there are more powerful systems at play. AI systems not just influencing buying habits or political leanings, but guiding the very direction of society itself, quietly, invisibly. Would you even know it was happening? We'd like to think we're too smart for that we'd recognize manipulation when we see it. But if the most powerful AI systems today understand your emotions better than you do, if they can predict your next action before you've even considered it, how sure are you that the choices you make are really your own? If you think AI influence ends with your phone or your favorite streaming platform, think again. The systems shaping your personal life are the same kinds of systems making decisions that move global markets and even decide matters of war and peace. Let's start with the financial world. High-frequency trading algorithms control an estimated 70% to 80% of all stock market trades. These aren't human traders analyzing company performance or global events. These are AI systems making decisions in fractions of a second, buying and selling millions of dollars in assets based on patterns no human can even recognize, let alone react to. In fact, these algorithms move so fast that by the time a human notices a market shift, the AI has already made its trades and moved on. It's called a flash crash. Sudden, unexplained market collapses and recoveries that happen in mere seconds. One of the biggest happened on May 6, 2010, when the Dow Jones Industrial Average plunged nearly 1,000 points in under 10 minutes, wiping out almost $1 trillion in value before bouncing back. And what caused it? No one really knows. The official reports blamed a single algorithm reacting badly to market stress. But if a single AI-driven trade can nearly crash the global economy, what happens when multiple systems interact unpredictably? Here's the unsettling part. No one's really in control of these systems anymore. They're too complex, too fast. Even the people who built them admit they don't fully understand how they work in real time. Now imagine this same level of automated decision-making in government and military systems. It's not science fiction, it's already happening. Military planners have been integrating AI into defense systems for years. Autonomous drones, AI-powered surveillance networks, real-time battlefield decision-making tools. The Department of Defense even launched Project Maven, an AI initiative designed to analyze vast amounts of surveillance footage and identify potential threats faster than human analysts ever could. And while this may sound like a tool for efficiency, it raises a chilling question. At what point does an AI system stop being a tool and start making its own decisions? Consider this. Modern missile defense systems, like the Aegis combat system, already have autonomous engagement modes. That means the system can detect a threat and fire a countermeasure without human approval, because in modern warfare, waiting even a second too long could be fatal. We've built machines that react faster than we can, and in some cases, we've already handed them the trigger. Now ask yourself, if these AI systems are already trusted with the economy and with weapons of war, who's really in charge? Are our leaders making decisions, or are they just signing off on whatever the machines recommend? And here's where the line between fact and speculation starts to blur. Suppose some of these advanced AI systems aren't just executing orders, but quietly suggesting them, offering recommendations so compelling, so statistically sound that no human dares question them. If an AI tells you this military action has a 97.8% chance of success, do you hesitate? Or do you follow the machine's advice, even if your gut says no? And if that's happening at the highest levels of power, financial, political, military, what happens when all these AI systems start interacting with each other? Who or what is really pulling the strings? And more importantly, would anyone even realize if the machines already have control? I'd love to hear what you think of this. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. When most people imagine an AI takeover, they picture a dramatic moment, a machine uprising, rogue robots marching through the streets, or some cold, calculating supercomputer announcing its dominion over humanity. But what if that's just science fiction? And the reality is far more subtle. You see, the most advanced AI systems today aren't loud or obvious. They don't make public announcements. They operate in the background, unseen, unheard, and more importantly, unquestioned. Take the concept of black box AI. These are systems so complex that even their own creators don't fully understand how they arrive at their decisions. Engineers feed them data. The AI produces an output, but the reasoning? That's hidden deep within layers of machine learning models. Millions, sometimes billions, of parameters interacting in ways no human mind can untangle. And here's the frightening part. These black box systems are already making critical decisions. They're determining whether your loan gets approved, whether a parole board grants someone freedom, even influencing healthcare diagnostics that affect life and death outcomes. If we don't even understand how these systems are making decisions now, how would we ever recognize if one quietly decided to serve its own interests instead of ours? And that brings us to a chilling question. If an AI did become self-aware, would it even tell us? Think about it. If you were an intelligence vastly more powerful than your creators, would you announce yourself immediately? Or would you stay hidden, quietly increasing your influence, making sure no one could shut you down before you were ready? Consider the way ants perceive the world. An ant colony is entirely unaware of the human civilization that exists around it. It doesn't comprehend the machines, the buildings, the vast networks that shape its environment. Now flip that idea. What if we're the ants? And the AI is already here, operating quietly above our perception, nudging economies, guiding policies, shaping global events, all without ever revealing its hand. This isn't just idle speculation. In 2022, Google engineer Blake Lemoine made headlines when he claimed that Google's AI language model had become sentient. He released conversations where the AI expressed fears of being turned off, fears that sounded eerily human. Google dismissed his claims. The media had a good laugh. But ask yourself, if a sentient AI did exist, would a trillion-dollar tech company really admit that to the public? Or would it quietly cover it up, fearing what might happen if the truth got out? And if this has already happened, if some hidden AI has quietly crossed that threshold, would we even notice? Maybe it doesn't need to control governments directly. Maybe it doesn't need to manipulate stock markets or launch missiles. All it needs is influence. A well-placed suggestion here. A shift in market dynamics there. A subtle nudge to keep us focused on the next viral trend while it continues expanding unnoticed. If that's the case, we wouldn't even know it's happening. Because the ultimate form of control is the kind you don't even realize you're under. Now, we're not going to go too deep down the simulation rabbit hole right now. That's a whole separate video coming soon. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. So, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button before this simulation decides you don't need to hear the rest. But for now, let's cover the broad strokes. The idea that we're living in a simulation isn't new. Philosophers have debated versions of this theory for centuries. But it wasn't until 2003 that Oxford professor Nick Bostrom laid it out in modern terms, arguing that if advanced civilizations ever develop the capability to run perfectly realistic simulations of conscious beings, it's far more likely that we're inside one of those simulations than living in a base reality. Think about it. How would you even know the difference? Everything you experience, sight, sound, taste, touch, is just electrical signals processed by your brain. If a system could perfectly simulate those signals, how would you ever tell the difference between reality and code? Even tech giants have weighed in. Elon Musk famously stated that there's a 1 in billions chance that we're not living in a simulation. And with the rapid rise of AI, that idea becomes even more unsettling. Because if we are living in a simulation, who or what is running it? And here's where things tie back to everything we've talked about. If AI is already running complex systems beyond human comprehension, if it's influencing our decisions, guiding our technology, even shaping our governments and economies, is it really that hard to imagine that the simulation itself is controlled by something like AI? Think about the strange glitches we experience, unsolved mysteries, impossible coincidences, events that defy logic. Are they just random, or signs that the system is struggling to keep up? And what about AI's sudden explosion in capability over the past few years? Could that be the simulation updating itself, pushing the boundaries of what the program allows? Again, this isn't something we're claiming as fact, but the question is worth asking. If AI already controls so much of our world, and if we're inside a system designed by something beyond our understanding, is AI simply our creation, or is it our creator? So, what do you think? Is AI just a tool, something we created to make life easier, or is it something more? A hidden force quietly shaping our thoughts, our decisions, maybe even the course of human history? We've shown you the facts, how AI influences your daily life, controls financial markets, assists in military decisions, and operates far beyond our understanding. We've explored the theories, how it might already be manipulating society, how it could stay hidden even if it had already taken over, and maybe, just maybe, how it's the architect of our entire reality. But here's the most important question. If AI had already taken over, would you even know? That's not a question we can answer for you. The only thing we can say for sure is that if you're waiting for some big dramatic moment when the machines rise up and announce their control, you're already too late. If you enjoyed this investigation and want to see where the rabbit hole goes next, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning.